a poor choice, a stumble, and an error. And the presence of God takes a detour and lands at the home of Obed-Edom. Obed-Edom and his entire household are blessed beyond measure because of this event. Did they earn it? Did they deserve it? Had they been living perfect lives up until this point? Obed-Edom, the Gittite, the resident of Gath, a Philistine for heaven's sakes, from Goliath's hometown, who comes into the presence of God and is forever changed. What is this story? I'm glad you asked. In 2 Samuel, Saul has died and David has once again been anointed king. Once again, it happened several times. All of Israel has recognized that he is the rightful king, chosen by God, and David begins to take steps to unite the 12 tribes. One of the first things he does is set out to bring the Ark of the Covenant, the dwelling place of the presence of God, back to Jerusalem. He thinks he's being careful, following all of the guidelines for moving the Ark. He thinks he's doing the right thing, but he makes a poor choice. As the Ark makes its way on a cart from Abinadab's house in Bela of Judah to Jerusalem, the oxen pulling the cart stumble, and Uzzah reaches out to steady the Ark and is struck dead. The stumble, followed by the error. David is upset and fearful to continue, and he chooses to abandon the quest to bring the Ark home for now. Instead, he leaves it at the home of Obed-Edom, and he leaves it there for 3 months. And because of the presence of the Lord, Obed-Edom and his entire household are greatly blessed. David recognizes the blessing of the presence of God and returns to make another attempt to bring the Ark home to Jerusalem. This time he's more careful to follow all of the protocols. And what happens to Obed-Edom? Well, he too makes the trip to Jerusalem. He takes his family with him. He is seen as faithful and is appointed as a gatekeeper in the city of the Lord. His children and his children's children follow in his footsteps, and the blessings continue for generations. The power of the presence of God in our lives. In David's day, the presence of God was confined to the gold-covered Ark of the Promise. But with Jesus' death on the cross, the veil to the Holy of Holies was rent in two, and the presence of God became available to us, to all of us, as a free gift. And now, we have this treasure in earthen vessels. We have this presence of a holy God alive in our hearts, and we are blessed to give it away. Bob Goff reminds us that tremendous love makes big grace look effortless. When our lives revolve around loving people, grace becomes a natural outpouring. People don't have to worry about bothering us or wearing out their welcome. They know we'll be gracious just because it's Tuesday. And that's who we are. Give away tremendous amounts of love and watch grace come along for the ride. Thanks, Bob. My mom recently reminded us that we have a heritage, an inheritance in my family, an example of how to live our lives in the life and legacy of our grandmother, Nadine Taylor, and her husband, Paul Taylor. Grandma was described this way by a friend at the time of her passing. Nadine proved to so many of us in so many ways that there is one flock and one shepherd who loves us all, regardless of our color or creed. She pulled all denominations together as it should be. I am grateful that Grandma left us a generational blessing, that we are keepers of the covenant. And despite poor choices, stumbles, and errors, some of them even ours, we are a home for the presence of the Lord. Let us love. Let us give it away. Let it be so.